name's Peter Wenniston. My experience and background is advertising and marketing, and I'm here with David. We've decided to collaborate to bring together the Agile Architect. I've known David for many years, a close friend, and he's been in the industry for more than 10 years as an architect for many multinational companies. And what we're going to do here is just basically a few question and answers to try and set up this project of the Agile Architect. We're hoping to bring this into a larger community for all architects and Agilists out there in the community. So David, the first question is, what is the Agile Architect?
Look, the Agile Architect, it's a project, I guess, and an ongoing thing, but it's a collection of material like videos and training material and other writings and things that we're pulling together to basically help architects through this process of becoming Agile. It was inspired, I guess. I got started when one of the projects I was working on at a large bank decided that they were going to go Agile. And my first reaction was, great, they're going Agile. This is exciting. You know, I've been a big fan of Agile for a long time. But then actually a feeling of dread came over me because I realized that I'm the architect.
A bit like the Matrix.
Yeah. The Matrix, the architect.
What is the problem between you being the architect and the project going Agile?
Well, Pete, the conflict between architects and Agile projects is really well documented. If you just do a couple of Google searches about Agile Architect and so forth, you're going to find people out there on both sides of the camp. And the Agile camp is basically very unhappy with the architect's rigid regimen. Architects want a very well thought out end state. Before anybody starts coding, they kind of want to have the design very clear and all of the questions answered before we begin. Agile, on the other hand, wants to start with a simple design and get started coding, and then learn from this, and then basically refactor, and then they have something they call emerging design.
Now that we understand the relationship between the two, how does an architect go Agile?
For an architect to go Agile, I think you really need to start first with the Agile Manifesto. So I have spent a lot of time looking at this Agile Manifesto and then trying to work out, well, what does this Agile Manifesto mean to architects? And so I go through this and I see a few things. The Agile Manifesto, if you recall, speaks to what things the Agile projects value over others. Not in replacement of, but value over. And I thought through a few things that architects do. Architects draw diagrams. So I've got a manifesto axiom that says dialogue over diagrams. Dialogue over diagrams basically means it's more important to engage with people and discuss what it is that you want the architecture to look like than just to draw the diagram about what the architecture wants to look like. Facilitation over presentation. So I want to facilitate a common vision. I want to facilitate interaction of people on the team rather than just present my design and try and convince them. The third one is shared vision over my vision. Architects want everybody to think the vision is their vision. But to be truly successful, the vision has to be a shared vision. It has to be the vision of the team and the owner and all the stakeholders, not the vision of the architect. So the architect shouldn't just be presenting their vision to everyone else. They need to be facilitating the development of a shared vision. And finally, learning over planning. You have to be able to modify your next actions based on what you just learned in your last actions. Don't think you're going to have a plan that knows exactly what's going to be done from here to the end of your 2-year-long project. It's just not possible.
So now that you've established these 4 key principles to becoming an Agile architect, how are you endeavouring to bring this to all those who are interested?
What I'm thinking is to basically apply Agile to Agile architecture, to engage community out there, to present some ideas, some straw man, let's call it. Get feedback from people, get people to engage. Tell me what you think. Have you had a similar experience to mine? Does any of this make sense to you? And I want you to contribute a bit to this, and I'll bring it back. I'm going to pour a lot of energy into this. And what I want to do is go through each of these principles in the axiom and figure out specifically what do architects need to do to become agile. I hope you join me.